Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
Looks fine.
Okay.
And then my card did a really. No, wait.
That would be amazing. Hello to all you single-celled organisms out there. Welcome to the podcast. It has been about 343 years since you were first discovered by Antony van Leeuwenhoek, and now you have no idea what to do with that incredibly useful information. This week's Around the Verse was all about control, and funnily enough, we have none. CanadianSyrup has no self-control. He's off the chain! Nehkara has no mind control. He's got his own tinfoil hat. Fastcart has no speed control. He won't never stop for nobody. And I have no bladder control. Or do I? Welcome to the Relay Station.
I'm glad I was not taking a sip at that point in time. I may or may not had to have restricted myself from spewing it all over my monitors.
I don't know. That would have been great.
I need these.
Stormy apparently doesn't want to see me.
No.
Okay. It's Saturday. It's 2:30. It's time for the Relay Station. After the Relay Station, there is a very special episode of the Captain's Table, which unfortunately I can't be on, but it is an all-Canadians cast, and Mr. Nehkara will be on it, so go watch that, because it's all going to be about Canadians and that bloody American Paul, but we love him anyway.
Speaking of what, no one told me I was going to be
an all-Canadian cast if Paul is the host, then. Jeez.
What's that, Fastcart?
Speaking of it, no one told me I was going to be the only non-Canadian on the show today. I just found out like a half hour ago. It's like, you know, 1/4 non-Canadian. That's not even 3/5.
We won't judge you. We won't judge you. Don't worry.
I do have one request.
The only real solution to this is to make you an honorary Canadian.
I was going to say that. That's what I'm going to say. Let's make a deal. Tell me what I have to do to become an honorary Canadian, and I'll tell you what you have to do in order to become an honorary African American.
I could live with that deal.
Embrace maple syrup and hockey, and move north.
Yeah.
See, it helps if you like fried chicken and watermelon, but if you just could be beat up by a cop, you're in.
Oh man.
We are starting to cast off on a spicy note. Speaking of spices, let's talk about flight control.
That's a hell of a segue.
That was impressive.
Okay.
That was smooth.
See, whenever you mention control, I can't help but think of Janet Jackson Control. The video, a long time ago, 80s. I would never.
80s is too long ago for me. Sorry. Okay. So, Star Citizen, that thing that we talk about sometimes. No, let's not talk about flight control yet. Let's start with the burn down. So the burn down this week, as of Around the Verse, was 7. As of Thursday, when it actually, like as of recording, it was 7 bugs to go. As of, airing of Around the Verse, it was 5 bugs to go.
So technically Friday because it came out like a half an hour before.
Oh, I know. Hey,
I have to
you know
say,
what?
though, when they said it comes out on Thursday, it technically came out on Thursday.
It technically came on Thursday.
Hey, that depends on the time zone, because damn well wasn't Thursday for
It
me.
technically came out on Thursday.
Yep. It's all by Pacific time, best time. Even though I'm no longer Pacific, it's still.
I wanted to note though that on Friday, when they put up the production schedule, it was back up to 7 bugs. So I think they had some created.
You pull one string, you reveal 3 more.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, whether it's 5 or 7, both of those numbers are under 10, and that is good news.
Yes, it is. It basically puts it within range of actually being able to fix them all within a week. So we might see a release sometime soon.
Depending on the blog and whether or not, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's actually talk a bit about that. We know that we should never give dates when it comes to anything CIG related. So, of course, the first thing that I'm going to ask all of you is, what date do you think they're going to fix all the bugs?
Well,
Are we talking Evocati or are we
Yeah, I was
talking...
gonna say because they're never gonna fix all of them.
There's always going to be a bug.
Evocati.
Always going to be a bug.
What is the date
Okay,
for Evocati?
Evocati.
Now that we've got, as of today, the best knowledge we have, there's 7 left. When is Evocati? Nehkara?
11:59 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, September 29th. So
Okay.
Friday night at the very end of the night.
Okay.
Trying to get it out for the weekend.
Fastcart?
I'm gonna say October 2nd.
Ooh, going
Good.
all the way
Monday.
to October.
That's a solid call.
Good. Yeah. Mr. Canadian Syrup, whose name I still haven't put in. I gotta get to work on that because my fonts broke.
October 2nd is definitely a very good guess. I'm saying the 4th, though, because there's going to be too much for them to do on a Monday, and they need, like, 2 days to regroup, and, get everything ready. So I think October 4th is when they're going to do Evocati. Because it gives them enough time before the weekend to not have to do staff over the weekend.
So are we doing this like Price is Right style? Like whoever gets closest without going over?
Oh,
yes, absolutely.
There was an episode that they just did, I think yesterday, The Price is Right, and they did where, if you hit the $1, you get 10,000, and if you hit it again, you get $25,000. 2 people, actually, all 3 got $1, like total,
Nice.
so they got total 10,000, and then 2 of the 3 hit the $1 again, so 2 people got $25,000.
So Canadian, what have you been
Wow.
doing with your time?
Because it was right. It was right. So that's what-
It had nothing to do with anything.
well, I wanted to.
I need a background on this. God, I hate background color. There. Okay, no. Outline. There it is.
Oh yeah, your quality on the stream looked pretty bad.
Oh yeah, it's my quality. I go over this like every week. My quality is going to be bad until Discord video starts working like a video thing. Because Skype, I have no
It already is
option.
out. 40%.
I got it.
Just to the audience know, his quality looked fine on Skype. He looked perfect on Skype.
It looks dapper
Problem
as
is,
ever.
the problem is with Skype is when you've got 4 people in a convo, if you're the one, like your video is this little tiny box at the bottom of the screen. You can't.
You can make it bigger.
Nope. I can't.
I can.
Anyway, I can't. It doesn't like me. Skype sucks. Discord, make it work, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually just I'm just pixel art.
See,
Yep.
I want to make a
He
joke,
actually-
but you can make it
he
bigger.
does look
Just rub it
kinda
a
cool.
little bit.
There must be a
Pixel
way
art
to look
David.
at your beautiful face in a larger size.
I just don't want to blind everyone.
Your magnificence.
Yeah. Okay,
We
so
actually kind of have 5 people on the stream.
Yeah, right? No, I'm
It's
gonna have
great.
all 6.
You can be at 2 places at once too.
Yes, you can. You should show them that trick.
I did already. I closed your door.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey,
Man.
I hear someone. Stormy, is that you?
Stormy, what are you doing in here?
Just teleports everywhere.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a moment to basically tell everyone what's going on here. Is there really wasn't much news this week. We're gonna talk about flight control in a moment, but
What about the Origin X1?
we can talk about the Origin X1 as well. Those are a lot of books. Where are they going? Okay. I'm not getting answered. Let's you know what? Sure, let's talk about the Origin X1. It's another space bike. Do any of you feel like CIG you've been kind of throwing out entirely too many space bikes lately?
Well,
No, I don't think so.
No, because
it just seems like they're coming out too quickly because that's what the pipeline that they're on at the moment, I guess.
Well, it's okay. They have like 50 plus spaceships. They started off with having, what did we have? We had 2 rovers and a buggy, and
well, we only ever have had one rover.
Yeah, one
well,
rover.
I know,
The other
but
rover's not even-
there is another one that theoretically
Yeah.
does this.
No, I know it's not done yet though. So,
No,
yeah.
but they once they introduced procedural planets, they basically had to go hardcore on land vehicles because they didn't have any. So
Yeah.
you're going to see a lot of that, and it might annoy people, but you're going to see a lot more additions to the land vehicles probably in the next 6 or 8 months, I would imagine. Especially because now they're releasing 3.0, so you can actually use them.
mhm.
So my question is, do you think the X1 is going to be in 3.0?
No,
No.
I think they've sort of gotten past the point where they can check things in. I think it'll be 3.1 though, or even maybe an interim patch, because now that
Yeah.
they have the Delta. Now they have the Delta patch, it'll be much more realistic for them to do interim patches.
Assuming it works.
My next
And
question.
it's not to say I doubt their coding skills. It's just like
Yeah, I get it.
it's gonna go to a lot of backers. So
And I mean,
Yeah.
and if it worked for most people, there'll be like 1 or 2, or maybe like that 1% that it just doesn't work
the
for.
1%.
Yeah.
How is what it comes down to.
I'm okay with it not working for the 1%.
Okay,
Um,
so can someone throw me a link? Like I've been a bit out of it, and I don't think I've seen the Origin X one yet.
I can find it.
I got you. I got you.
Got it? All right. go
I know
ahead.
what it is, but
So here's my next question. I'm gonna see if I can put this up on screen really quickly to show everyone kind of what I'm talking about. Give me just a moment here. Let's add an image. X1. Okay. Browse. Desktop.
Well,
So-
Starfix, they are redoing and improving the current ships. Like that's the thing is they're not just doing one ship at a time. Like different artists are assigned to different tasks, and each studio has their own manufacturer they're responsible for. So, you know, you're not going to have the guys in UK doing Drake ships. That's LA and Austin. So they're doing
Yeah.
Misk and Anvil and whatever.
the other thing that really influences this is a lot of the ships they have to create at this point are huge, just gigantic. Like the
Yeah.
Reclaimer, the Hull C, the Carrack, these type of things, the Endeavor. These are like the ships that they're looking at having to create. They're enormous. These land vehicles are tiny. They can make them in like from concept to completion in probably a month or two.
I have a question.
know?
Does anyone think that it looks really bloody weird that the legs are down there? Like there's a little bubble for your legs, and it looks like you're like hunched like a gremlin.
It's like a Tron bike without the wheels.
It looks weird because you can't see the actual person behind the covering,
Yeah.
whatever you call them. But not really.
I think it looks kind of
I
strange.
don't know. I think it looks kind of cool. I do like that it has an obvious weapon mount right out front.
Yeah.
I do like that.
This thing's definitely going to have a bit more of a combat focus than some of the other things. They've really emphasized that big weapon up front.
Yeah, I put in a couple of links in chat also.
Like I like it, but I feel like if they took and put the legs more up, it would kind of start to look more like a Nox maybe, but I think it's cool.
I'm really curious how the pilot gets in. I want to see the animation.
I feel like
That's a good question.
the roof thing kind of has to slide back along the body or something, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe
It's gonna be
the
curious.
glass cockpit like underneath it pulls out and then you kind of like snake in.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
That'd
But
be
then
weird.
it's Origin though. It's luxurious, so it's
Mhm.
supposed to be easy. So
Yeah.
Right.
It actually inflates around you. It's a little
One
watch.
thing
You
I-
just tap the watch and it.
One thing I would say
Iron
though
Man.
is that it definitely looks like an Origin thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Like the manufacturer consistency is very good there.
Mhm.
Although I still really want to see the reworked 300 series because I think that'll be really set the tone for what Origin is.
I want to see. I think there was someone
You
that
want a
was
Steve?
posting. I want to see. No, there was someone that. I think someone posted it in our Discord. Actually, it almost looks like the Avenger. Is bigger now
Then what?
than it used to be.
Oh.
Sandy posted an image on Twitter, and it just kind of looked like there's. I don't know.
That's the Titan version, so it doesn't have anything inside of it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look bigger.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
You talking about the,
I don't-
the cargo placement?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
I don't think it's.
Oh,
I
I
don't
got
think it's changed. I think it just looks like it because most people are used to seeing the Stalker, which has those prison cells
Yeah.
on
True.
the side. So
That one?
Yes.
Total
Yep.
aside here, but I'm just going to mention something quickly. Welcome back, Ben. Nice to
Welcome
see
back, Ben. Yeah.
Yep. Welcome back,
It's
Ben.
nice to see Ben back in CIG.
Yep.
Good work on Ben puns. I missed them.
We all miss Ben puns. So we're gonna talk a little bit about flight control now, but before we do that, throw us some questions because
Air
once
traffic control?
air traffic control, yeah, that's the one. Because once we get to the second half of the show, we're gonna need your questions, or we're all just gonna sit here and
And stare at
twiddle
you.
our thumbs and stare at you like this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Don't do that, Eric. People may like that. You want to get questions. You want to not encourage them to, not submit questions.
True. Good point. Okay, so I thought that this week's episode focusing on air traffic control was all right, but there are some things in it that I thought were really cool. One of which was they were saying that it's air traffic control is going to be 1-to-1. So if you call an air traffic controller trying to land, you're going to speak to that air traffic controller. And while you're speaking to that air traffic controller in your ship, in his little seat somewhere on the station, he's going to be sitting there talking to you. And someone else could stand there and watch him talk to you in your ship. And he's only going to talk to one person at a time, so you might actually have to quay up to use air traffic control. I thought that was really cool.
Actually, I don't know about anyone else, but I want to get that one quirky traffic controller all the time. You know what I'm talking about?
The- Yeah, he seemed pretty neat. I also like that they're adding some, some character to some of them. And I hope what it is you do only have one human air traffic controller at Levski. If you call and there's no one else that's talking to him, you get him. If you call and someone else is talking to him, you get an automated thing.
There should be like a 1 in 1,000 chance that some place like Grimhacks that you get like some sociopath air traffic controller who just like crashes you into the side of the asteroid.
It just gives your coordinates to a lady in a
Well,
reclaimer.
I don't. No, not a sociopath. They're going to be some drunk test members just doing that also.
Yeah, they took over the air traffic controller and they smashing everyone and everything.
That's something I was actually wondering. Do you think that this is something CIG might make into a job for people? Because that might be horrible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one of
but-
those things where it
I don't think
sounds
it's a good
cool, but in practicality, it's not worth it. And people would be like, wow, this is actually kind of boring. Like, okay, there's that like 1 or 2 people out there that are like, I will do this all the time. And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That 1%.
But like, yeah, no one else is going to want to do it. So
Yeah.
it's nice thought, but yeah.
People are going to want to do it for like 5 minutes, and then that's it.
It's like,
Um,
oh, this is
I have
so
a
cool.
question.
And then like, oh, I'm bored now. What's next?
Anybody else notice that they misspelled controller?
Yeah, someone, I think Relum did.
Like, given how late ATV came out, really?
Yeah.
Come
No,
on.
that's just it though. Given how late it came out, it was bound to
Well,
be.
yeah, but Disco was like, well, we want it to come out, and we want it not to. We're delaying it because we want it to be great. And I'm like, but you misspelled controller.
Oh, I got it.
Spelling
spelling.
is irrelevant.
Maybe that's how
You're
they
not a
spell.
writer,
Maybe that's how
Jason.
they spell controller in 30 or 2947.
Or maybe that's just how
No,
Americans spell it. I
that's
don't know.
how they
They've got
spell it.
weird
No,
spellings.
no, don't blame it on America. Our education system sucks, but yeah,
I
that's it.
honestly don't know what else to say about air traffic control.
The animation looked cool.
Yeah,
And they look polished.
Mhm.
It looks
It-
like,
and it's-
even though they're still saying, they're still emphasizing third system alpha. They're emphasizing alpha on that. I mean, it looked, good to go.
Yeah, no, it's something. It's stuff like that that adds a lot of depth to a game where you feel like you're actually a part of the universe, not like Eve, for example. I mean, obviously Eve is a separate game in itself. It's different style, but like you listen to the same generic, load or docking requested, docking accepted, and it's the exact same voice in the exact same station everywhere. Whereas like having some flavor, maybe even some down the line, we're going to have like Xeon traffic controllers and stuff, and you hear them talk and their language and stuff, and, you got to know what they're saying so you don't kill yourself,
I just want Shiver to be the air traffic controller.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Should
I
do an
am
impression?
bollocks it.
You cannot do an impression of him
Why not?
because you can't.
Why?
No one can. No one can. None of us can fully demonstrate Shiver's.
Shiverness.
And
Despair
just for when Shiver
at the
watches
world.
this later, we miss you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Shiver.
we do miss you.
We do miss Shiver.
Have fun.
Shiver is. You might have noticed that the quality of Relay Replay has gone down, as well as the quality of Around the Verse has gone down because Shiver's not around to tell me what to do and how to do it.
Sure. You bring me on, then you complain about the quality. Fine, I get it.
No, I'm complaining that I'm on. Man, like, so
So also air
this-
traffic control.
well,
And honestly,
this,
okay,
this
here's a
ATV
question.
wasn't great.
Should it really be called air traffic control? It should be space traffic
Space
control.
traffic control.
Come on.
But what about a pun?
I'm with you on that one. I'm with
What
you on
about
that one.
planets,
What?
though?
Okay, then just call it traffic control.
But
But
what
then-
about cars?
Or flight traffic control. There you go. I solved the problem.
Flight
Why not just
control.
call it air? Because then that everything.
Yeah,
There's
but
no
what about
air in
what
space.
about when you're docking at underwater?
Yeah, so flight
stations?
control.
That's
You
not
can't call it
flight. That's
traffic control. That'd be
Yeah,
FTC.
underwater flight.
That'd be FTC. You can't call it FTC.
also it's not really
Oh,
flight
boy.
if it's in space. It's space flight.
It's still
Sure.
flight. It's a type of flight.
Yeah, air flight.
This
space
is just
flight.
you're
water
making
flight.
this much more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Guys,
I'm making a plea right now to make questions, please.
yeah, please give us some
no,
questions.
I'm gonna agree with you that this ATV wasn't too strong, but I really do think that the reason for that is that they're like 100% focused on the bug fixing part, and ATV is kind of a
They're not going to show us new stuff until 3.0 comes
project.
out.
Yep.
And also, they have to prepare for CitizenCon too, so they're
Yeah.
gonna hold back for that too. Also,
yeah. We're only like
5 weeks.
little over a month away, yeah, from CitizenCon. And so they got to crunch hard for 3.0, and they also are probably crunching hard on the assuming they actually are able to show it, the squadron demo.
Yeah. That, and I mean, if we looked at
Which is not a safe assumption, by the way.
No, it's
Do
not.
not expect it to
we
What?
can't
You
expect
confirmed
that.
for the CitizenCon. Oh, this is great! I'm so excited. Oh,
What we should expect based on that email thing last week, I think it was, they were essentially saying that you will see exploration and a new consolidated outland ship. So we have to wonder what they're doing there. Yeah. So-
exploration would be really interesting to see. Actually, I would love to see it, considering that's my main, really my main thing.
Yeah.
if we know it's an exploration ship, we know exactly what ship they're talking about.
Who do?
Isn't it a new ship?
No, it's a new ship, but if it's from Consolidated Outland, remember a year ago when they said, yes, Consolidated Outland is going to make a new ship, and they quoted it as a Connie killer?
Oh.
So this is going to be a direct competition to the Constellation, most likely.
And not only that, but a direct competition to the Aquila.
Yes.
Let's actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's talk about CitizenCon a bit. Do you guys think
Sounds
that we might finally see the Squadron 42 schedule?
The schedule? Yeah, probably. I think they're connected together. I think if they're done enough that they can show the demo, then they will probably put out the schedule at the same time.
Considering last time how they tried to do the slice until like the very last minute and then they couldn't do it, I don't know if they're gonna try to make a repeat of that or attempt to, even if they wanted to.
Well, they did a good job with Gamescom, and they said well in advance before there's not going to be Squadron. So
Yeah.
that was good. That's what we wanted them. It's like, okay, if you're not going to show Squadron, please tell us ahead of time. Like
Yeah.
not like 24 hours. So, and they gave us, what was it, like 3-4 weeks. So it was a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Same thing for CitizenCon. Like, there has to be a deadline where, like, if they're not 100% sure it's going to be there, then be like, hey guys, it's not happening. It's like, okay, at least you put down the hype engines, you know? Not like what last year. It's like everyone was so expecting it. And then, you know, as awesome as Spectrum is, really, it was difficult.
That just happened to be the sitcom we all went to.
That was
I
the
know.
signal
Wow,
we all
I just realized something. We were all at CitizenCon last year.
Yep. And keep in mind, I'm not saying like a release date for Squadron 42. I'm
No.
saying the schedule that they show us
Yeah.
now, or that they were showing us for 3.0. They were
Right,
showing us
yeah.
a 3.0 schedule. They have promised that a number of times. Do you think we'll see that? And do you think we might see an updated roadmap? Because the roadmap that we have from
yeah.
last year is horribly out of date now.
I believe we'll see a new roadmap for Star Citizen in general. I'm not confident we'll see one for Squadron 42.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so for either for Squadron 42.
CitizenCon is the time for the roadmap to come out.
Yeah.
Every year. I am hopeful that with the Delta Patcher coming out, they'll be able to, and with 3.0's like infrastructure there, they'll be able to patch more often.
Dude,
I actually-
you think that's really going to happen? Like, that you're going to patch more often with the Delta Patch in there?
I
well,
really do.
they can. I
It
know
will
right
make
now
a
it's
huge
really hard
difference.
for them to because they're pushing 40 gigs out to the 30 or 40 gigs out to the client every time.
And they said that at Gamescom, when 3.0 come out, it'll probably be closer to 40 or 45 gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you know, if they can go down to patching, you know, now patches are like a gig or a couple hundred megabytes. You know, that will really help being them able to iterate faster.
I
But
will agree with the
whether they
Astropub.
will,
Like,
I'm not
they
sure.
really do need to show something from Squadron 42 this year. If they don't, it is going to be a lot of bad press. And whether or not, like, most of us are probably still going to be with them. We know that if they're not showing it, it's just not ready yet, and it's not
It's
ready.
the press.
But that will look really bad. And Star Citizen has had enough bad press. 3.0 coming out should ease a lot of that if it's good.
Let me.
I actually don't. This is one I don't think they're going to. Sorry, fastcart. I just don't think they're going to put 3.0 out to release until it's good.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they want the bad press from that.
Yeah, exactly. But I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time we heard anything specifically was that 2016 trailer at the end of 2015, correct?
No, well, kind of, but they did say, they said that they had canceled the idea of a vertical slice or a trailer or anything, and then they said that the idea was back on, and then they
But
dropped.
that was all in 2015.
No, that was, they said this year that it was back on.
Okay.
So, we can't, we don't know.
A vertical slice is a very good thing to do, and I'm pretty confident that they still are because it's a benchmark. It allows you to see what you need to bring everything else to. So if you get one section finished, then you can go, okay, this is what we can go and match everything else to, instead of trying to build everything at the same time to the exact point. So, but it's that the biggest thing, honestly, if it wasn't for the AI subsumption kind of screwing up, we would have seen it, guaranteed. Its subsumption is, I know people go, well, AI really don't, you know, why would you care so much about the AI? What if they look a little funky? It's like, if AI is done right, you will remember it for the rest of your life. Like, how many people have played Fear and remember the AI in that game, where it felt like the AI was actually real? When they would talk, they'd like communicate to each other, and you're like freaking out because you're like, oh my god, they know where I am and they're trying to find me. You know?
And also there's like Mass Effect Andromeda. It's like not so much the AI, but just in general stuff were wonky in that game. So,
Yeah, and that's what people remember about Andromeda is
my face is tired.
it wasn't ready, right?
My face
So-
is tired.
Yeah,
Yes.
my face is tired.
But it's like what Tony was saying in the episode from the week before, where he's like, you know, pathfinding has been done for a couple of years. Aww. Hi, Mac.
Mac, do you want to get me a beer?
You don't ask mine to get you beer? You don't
Gotta train
ask a
them.
miner to get you beer.
You
No.
gotta train them early. You gotta train them early.
Okay. But what I was saying is that Tony said that pathfinding's been done for a couple of years, but it's just been janky, and that a lot of the effort has been to trying to fix that.
Okay, you have me convinced. Where can I find one?
They're in the back corner of Home Depot.
Oh well.
You guys carry on. I'm just gonna bask in this for a minute.
Oh, Chad's going crazy. I'm so proud of you. That's from Wee Hamster.
Guinness Extra
Well.
Stout. It's the good Guinness. Oh.
I don't drink beer.
So, the vertical slice. I agree with CS on that. I think that two things. First of all, you need to know what quality you need to bring everything up to, but also you need to finish the vertical slice and go, okay, is this good enough? Is this what we actually wanted to create?
Mhm.
Because you basically should have one mission completely done.
It's not
Okay, what
laughing at
just
the same
happened?
time.
I wasn't
You
looking.
don't want to know. You don't want to
Oh.
know. Keep...
You almost killed me there, Paul. Okay. Well, thanks, Paul. You have derailed this completely. This is why I should have you on the podcast every week, Paul.
Oh my god! I'm bringing that up. I'm bringing that up on the captain's table.
You have
later.
to. You have to.
You know what? I would have liked to have seen his delivery live. With
I-
his
Yes.
voice.
derailing you guys and talking in chat. Now I'm here and Paul is doing it. So yes, good job, Paul. I know.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow, it's amazing.
I'm
okay.
a bartender, not a parrot. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, true. Oh my. Oh my.
Where were we? Where were we?
I don't know. Vertical slice.
No.
Vertical
Nehkara was
slice.
talking about vertical slices.
Yeah.
So, Nehkara,
So I
tell
was
us all
just gonna
about
say that
slicing things vertically.
I just wanted to say that it also lets you, because you're finishing one mission to completion, it also lets you go, okay, now we've completed this mission and it's completed to the final game quality. Is this actually the game that we wanted to make? And that's the time when you can make changes to go, okay, it's not funny enough, or it's not, engaging enough, and we need to do this. Beyond the fact that you can also then bring everything else up to that quality. So it's a very useful tool, and I really hope we see it.
It's also,
'cause,
I mean, it's
been
not
years since we've seen Squad.
it's not quite as important for Star Citizen, but in a normal game, this would be you want what is happening? What is happening this week?
See, this is what happens when you have 4 Canadians on one show.
It's true. So one of the other things that kind of happens when you get a vertical slice in normal game development is then you use that vertical slice to show off the game. You show it off at press demos and at like games shows and stuff, and that's what you're showing off, because this is done. This is one section of the game done. And it can be done a year before the rest of your game, but you've got something to show. So I don't think that's as important as for CIG and Star Citizen as it is for normal games, but that's what a lot of people do it for. Hopefully we won't have to wait a year and a half after the vertical slice. But we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, at some point, independent of the vertical slice, whenever that comes or doesn't come, I'm hoping for a benchmark or some kind of demo.
Yeah.
Close to when Golden 42 is really coming out, so people can test the machine to see if it runs well. Yeah.
That would be a good idea. Because this game, I mean, I have a sneaking suspicion Squadron's going to be a PC melter.
Well, not so much as Star Citizen, but yeah.
Not quite as much, but I mean, Chris is all about the graphical fidelity.
Drink.
And yes, all those people who were drinking today just got smashed.
Fidelity. Welcome to everyone that's just started joining us to watch and comment. If you'd like to follow or subscribe, you can do that. Cause why not? If you have a question, you can put it in our question box, and that's where we, answer your questions.
No, really?
Sometimes, unless we think that the question is retarded, and then we just laugh at you. So
Yes.
This might be our worst cast yet. And
I think the word is best.
I'm
Yeah, good
so
point.
proud of all of us right now. Thank you all.
See, for people who are wondering, what it's like to be 1/5 of the relay to not Canadian, it's three times worse than being 3/5.
Okay. We're gonna get to the questions soon. We've actually got some decent ones so far, so thank you. Keep throwing them in. I don't know. No, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question.
Yep.
Carefully.
Well,
Yes,
Is
very
it one that
phrase
was submitted or one you're wanting to ask?
one I'm wanting to ask. I'm
Then
trying to
throw it out there, and then if it's wrong, then we'll correct it.
excuse me.
Oh, okay.
That-
Well, that's not.
okay,
That's,
No, that wasn't it. That was when that was holding the question back. Now the question's ready.
Oh, the blocker.
We're all pretty ready to assume, I'd say, that Squadron 42 is not going to come out this year.
Yeah.
What would you guys think if it didn't come out next year?
If it did not come out,
Did not come out next year.
I'm expecting it to come out in 2019. Short answer.
I would basically say at this point I've had enough practice with this that I can just say okay. Then they must have needed more time. Better good and late than shitty and soon.
oh, he was really trying hard, wasn't he?
Yeah, fuck it. What about you, CS?
No, I don't think it's gonna come out this year. I definitely think they're getting it to a point where it's definitely close, but there's still some things that have to be completed before they can, comfortably release it. So there's still some tech needed.
Fastcart's thinking November 2019. So that's my 35th birthday right there.
Well, Miles said December 31st, 2019. So I'm a little bit more, optimistic than he is.
Here's one of my
It's
things.
really hard. One of the things is sorry, David. Go ahead.
No. Go.
It's really hard to tell, and the
Yeah.
reason is because it really, really is. And I know that's a cop out, but it's also we haven't seen the game in 2 years. We have no idea where it's at. It is a completely separate game from Star Citizen, in a lot of ways. So where it's at in terms of its polish and in its approach to final quality is really a big question mark. I think we'll have a lot better information at CitizenCon, but I'm going to say if the vertical slice is done and it plays well and there's no problems with it and it looks like it's final quality, 2018. If it's janky and they have problems with it, then probably 2019. That's what I'm saying. Or if
So-
it's not out at all. If they can't finish it at all, then 2019.
I'm not going to try and guess a year, even though I asked you guys to all guess years. What I'd like to say is I hope that they don't try and release it in the like September, October, November block.
Yeah.
Because that is when most mainstream games come out this year. What you've got Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Destiny on PC, Total War Warhammer, Super Mario on the Switch. Like that's when all of the biggest bloody games come out. I really, really hope that CIG are like, no, we can release this whenever we want, and they release it during a kind of a lull.
I think they should release it during the April, May, June timeframe so that
Yeah.
people can, because a lot of people who play this game are going to be people who are in school, and they'll have the entire summer.
Yeah.
I think and it's also a quieter period in gaming for some reason. I really think that it seems like an untapped potential, but I think that's the time frame they should be looking at, is the spring, late spring. And I mean, I think timing is really important. I think that if it's going to be a good game, which most of us think it will, then it needs to avoid the Titanfall 2 problem,
Yes.
where it's an amazing game and it got absolutely cannibalized by can you guys help me out with that?
I'm trying to remember.
Battlefield?
Yeah, it was Battlefield 1. Didn't it release
Battlefield
against...
1, yeah.
And the stupidest thing about that was they were both bloody EA games, and EA decided to release two of their stupid games in competition with each other that are both multiplayer games that people, like...
Yeah, and Titanfall 2 is actually a really good game. And
Yes.
so is Battlefield 1, and they just totally they basically sacrificed Titanfall 2 on the altar of Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure CIG is going to be smart enough not to like release on the same weekend on the same like time period that, like when Anthem come out.
Mhm.
From
Because it could
Yeah.
have huge implications for CIG whether or not Squadron 42 is successful.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be a game ender if it's not, but it could. I mean, if they sell 1 million copies, which isn't that many copies this day and age of a game, they're looking at straight up $45 million in profit, like instantly.
Yeah.
That's like a third of their existing funding, or not quite a third, but you know what I mean. It's a good portion of the funding they already have, and that can really propel them into finishing Star Citizen and creating Episode 2. And what if they sell 5 million copies? It's like $225 million.
Yeah.
10 million copies.
And whether, like, even if they only sell, like, 30,000 copies, because guess what? Everyone already owns...
pre-ordered.
We
I was gonna
already...
say that.
And I don't think that's going to happen, but, like, already 1 million people have pre-ordered, right? So, who knows? Maybe they
No,
won't...
that's not true though, because
True.
remember they cut off Squadron, and not only that, the number of citizens isn't the number of backers.
Yeah, that was like it
So-
was like 750,000 or something like that. But
I
even
think-
then, that was
I
like
think the number of people who actually have Squadron are probably around 500,000.
So, let's say they don't even hit 1 million on Squadron. They've still got the money to finish Star Citizen. It might impact
Absolutely.
whether or not they do full sequels right away, or if they wait for the sequels until they, until it picks up or
Finish
something.
Squadron until they finish Star Citizen. Yeah.
Until they finish. But they can do whatever they want, because guess what? They don't have an EA
Yeah.
attacking them. Right?
Pretty
They don't
much.
have a publisher. So,
No, it's the implications of it are pretty big though. It's press, it's players' interpretation of their universe. So they're gonna get it right. It's one of those things, they don't have a publisher, so I would definitely look at them basically waiting until Chris Roberts is like, this is freaking awesome. Let's put this out.
Well, I think in some ways though, like as much as we'd like to say, listen to Chris going, we'll wait until it's perfect. It's like I think Aaron's gonna be like, okay, you know what? It's at a point where it's good and people are going to be happy. We can make some adjustments post-release, you know.
And then when
Well,
people
you
come,
can't really make any adjustments to a single player game post-release.
Well, no,
Well,
but
Not any
it's-
major
man.
adjustments.
well, in the sense that like Chris is the visionary, Aaron's the one that actually makes it come true. That's
I was
how I
gonna
look
say,
at the. That's how
I just
look at the
don't think they'll release it until Chris is at least happy enough with it that he's okay with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I don't
Well,
doubt it, but I just don't want Chris to be like, I want it to be perfect. It's like,
No.
Fastcart?
Well,
I mean, he has. Keep in mind, he has released lots of games before. It's not like he never puts them out.
no.
Fastcart?
Thank you. So I was gonna say, even if it comes out and people nitpick like minor things, Chris is gonna be like, "I told you, Aaron. I told you."
See that? You see that one wall panel? I knew it. I knew they'd call it out.
One of the things that does have to be worried about in this day and age is the day one. If it sucks, guess what? That's when the reviews are posted. Day two, if you patch it, with all those stupid bloody piss ass
It loses
Friggin'
its effect when you wait
bloody-
that long.
crappy bad like Metacritic and crap, right? With all those stupid things, day one, that's what you get. That's your score.
Yep.
It never changes.
No,
And-
it's really
and
hard
that
to,
is-
it's really hard to reset.
And that's
there
terrible.
are some sites who issue update, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter as much as that first initial impression.
Yeah.
review.
Actually, it's a good and interesting thing that's happening right now. It's kind of an aside, but it isn't sort of an interesting examination of this topic. With like the launch of RX Vega for AMD, they had really bad reviews for that card. It was rough release. The card isn't quite finished. The features aren't implemented. Blah 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 blah. What we've seen actually happen now is they're actually delaying the release of custom cards until they think the card is finished, because they want a second shot at the reviews, right? It's a really interesting dynamic, and that's the problem, right? Like if they didn't have good initial reviews, so now they're like, well, shit. Now they have to basically try and reset and try and fix it later. It's way easier if you just make the thing properly the first time.
Another thing, I think a bunch of sites are going to be like reviewing the beta or the not released version as the released version, so there'll be stuff like that going on too, unfortunately.
And you can actually look at the problem that lots of outlets are having right now with PUBG, because PUBG is basically the biggest bloody game around right now. Everyone loves it. Everyone plays it. It is amazing. If you haven't played PUBG, just go play PUBG. At the same time, it's still an alpha, and everyone's like, well, I can't review it because it's an alpha, because I can't post a score because it's an alpha, but I need to talk about it because everyone's talking about PUBG. So how do I talk about it and get people to my site? Because PUBG is a thing that I need to talk about it, but I can't review it because it's not a full bloody game. And if it never becomes a full game, you're not supposed to give something a score until it's a full. It's a mess.
Well, so
I think
some
at that point,
reviewers
what
have
you
done
do
it-
is go ahead.
I was gonna say some companies have taken to actually doing like an early access review at that point, and then they'll update with the full review and replace that one.
I think that's the responsible thing to do. Basically, put a bunch of disclaimers on it. You know, we reviewed it at this point, and it will change continuously. And just go, this is how we think it plays right now.
And that's another good thing about Star Citizen being its own thing. It's not connected to like EA or Steam or whatever, because that means you can't get reviews from that one either.
Yeah. Okay, I want
actually, I wanted to say I do actually hope that eventually, I think Star Citizen should release on Steam. Actually,
I do too.
Agreed.
And I think it's really simple to do. All you do is have like the play button launches Spectrum, which will then launch the game.
Which is what they do for other things, right? If you buy an Ubisoft game on Steam, because they're all on Steam, it just launches Uplay. It launches
Uplay, and then Uplay launches the game.
But it's still on.
It's annoying.
Steam.
Yeah, no, I know it's still in one place.
But it's the
Steam
it
integration.
needs to. Steam is enormous. Is an enormous game, and it needs to have that exposure. That's all I'm really saying.
I would like us to move on to questions now, because we have hit that
Done.
45-minute mark, and we do have many questions, which I want to thank our glorious viewers for. And in thanks, I am going to completely obliterate all of your names. So, Thanatos from KGB asks, thoughts on the lack of a toilet in the Cutlass? Good. give those bloody Cutlass owners what they deserve, which is nothing!
Hey, I'm a Cutlass owner.
Nothing.
Fuck you.
Nothing.
Technically, I have a Cutlass right, which has a toilet.
You know, there's people who like argue between what the Papa used to say, I could care less or I couldn't care less. In this case, either one applies to me.
Yeah, that's about right.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, I love that.
But I'm gonna say that good. They can do it out the airlock.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
And do themselves out the airlock as well.
Yep.
So, Brevol Z 84 asks, do you think the plan... I'm sorry. I wanted to do this just for that one.
No, you're not.
Just for that.
If you were really sorry, you wouldn't have done it in the first place, young man.
That's true. Do you think the plan end game, like the end game plan for ATC, will be interacting with them? Like you can talk to them and they respond, or for air traffic controls, or do you think it's just you talk to them and they give you like you don't have options or anything? It's just you talk and it kind of plays this thing that you follow, or will you be able to interact?
I think it'll be like the ATT will say something to you. You select a choice or whatever, and then it goes back and forth that way until you land.
Yeah, that's more likely how it'll be. You'll have some options. I think at first it's just going to be automatic, but then as it evolves, they're going to give you like a little like, oh, would you like to go this pad, this pad, this pad, or this pad?
Unless it's that guy Bob, then you never know what's going to happen.
I think I think that they'll have some options to interact with them, just for fluff reasons, if you know what I mean. And it'll also be a good way for them to show off the flexibility of the subsumption system.
Okay, so our next question is asked by Sarkodeth, who asks, do you guys think that they will allow players to fulfill roles like ATC in the PU?
Not
Yeah, we already
not
covered
ATC.
that a little bit.
Lots and lots and lots and lots of roles, not ATC.
It's just too complicated.
Or maybe there'll be something like that for briefly in Squadron 42.
Very possibly, yeah.
Okay, so
But
the,
I just don't see it being a realistic
Yeah,
thing in
right.
Star Citizen.
the 84th attempt at successfully cloning Brivals asks, how long do you think it'll be before someone walks up to the ATC controllers and just shoots them? Day one.
Day one.
Day
zero.
one.
Hour 0.
I'm still going with 12 minutes. 12
I don't
minutes
know.
in.
I don't know if it'll be possible though. Maybe they're gonna be behind locked doors.
Someone will figure it out. They'll be able to glitch. Remember how in area, no, I want to say 51, but that's not it. 42 or whatever.
18.
ArcCorp. 18, thank you. They were able to glitch past and get to the constellation that you weren't supposed to get to. Someone will figure it out.
Yeah. Brivals84, I've said his name too many times, now I can't think of something funny, says, how involved do you think or want the ATC to be? Automated, highlight landing pads, hangars, etc. I want it to be fully automated, honestly. Like, there are some things in the game that I want lots of input into, and there's others that it's like, no, let's just let me land. Let's keep this simple.
I think it should be optional.
Yeah, you stole my answer.
Yeah.
Sorry, fastcart.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point of an air traffic controller. It's supposed to do all the hard work for you. You're not supposed to think about where you're landing and all that stuff. That's his job.
Well, I don't want that part to be manual. I just want the actual landing. The actual landing. I think it should be optional, whether it's landing or automatic.
If you want to land like manually, you can. If you want to land have the computer do it for you, you can.
Yeah. No, we know that's confirmed that you can do manual or automatic. So
anything can change.
But that also depends on the facility you're landing at. If you're landing at some like Grimhex, you're probably doing it on your own accord. You're not doing it automatically.
But can you do it digitally and analog?
could do it by record. I don't know.
So Nicolaj and Space Shipe Tra Eating Wheel both ask more ATC stuff, but we've basically covered all of the ATC stuff. I think more asking like what kind of interaction there will be and whether or not the ATC people will be locked away so that they can't be shot in the head. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think CIG will lock them away, especially after they just talked about how you're going to be able to sit there and watch them work. But they might be in an area where your gun gets confiscated before you go in. Like you have to pass a scan before you can even walk into the area, right?
When CIG said that, I'm imagining like they'll be in some kind of glass cased area that you can see into and see them doing their work.
Is chat working? Because I'm getting weird messages saying that I'm unable to connect to chat.
No, chat's
working
It's
for me.
working for me.
Okay.
Monitoring the status in this house.
Who's in the document?
Not me.
Not
I will
me.
Fast
join
cart.
it.
I am.
You are? Can you ask the next question? I'll be right back. I think I hear a little one crying.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
It's the one
Uh-oh.
that should be... Yeah, that one. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So, basic training notes ask, do you expect any ATV studio reports before CitizenCon?
No, because they
no.
said there's no restudy reports until after 3.0 releases. I think that's
But-
what they said. They're just doing burn down until 3.0 comes out.
Yeah, but this question is specifically about CitizenCon. So, what if 3.0 comes out before CitizenCon? Do you think there'll be ATV reports
won't.
out? You know? Yeah.
That's my opinion is that they'll go to Evocati probably sometime next week or early the following week. But Evocati's going to take a month probably.
You know what?
optimistically.
I don't think it's honestly due to take that long for Evocati. The reason being is that the Delta patcher is going to make a huge difference for testers. Being able to, have them push out hot fixes like really
But the thing is, though, that they're only testing one feature at a time. So they're going to do traversal, and then they're going to do shopping, and then they're going to do trading, and then they're going to do missions. And it's like, that's going to take a long time.
No, that is true, but it also depends. Like, it
Okay.
could go super good. Could so
Maybe,
go
maybe.
well.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So, related question, how high in the patches do you think Evocati will go? Like, to 0 or P or Q?
Triple Z.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We're going through all the hurricanes. We're going through all.
That's right.
Alright, I got one question. We're on the next one.
Okay, so Projectionist asks, Nehkara, how is RSI funding going the past few months? Was the 600i the best sale this year?
I'm gonna go take a look right now. I haven't really been paying attention, as you people know. I haven't been around lately, but as the last time I checked, the funding has gone really well. Actually, yeah, fastcart takes a long look at this all the time too. What's the status, fastcart?
Well, you said you were gonna look it up, so I was gonna leave it up to you. I'm just looking it up.
Okay, no, I'll check it right now. I'm just checking right now.
We'll get back to you on that one.
Mhm.
Le Pilote asks, any ideas for what the game changer ship will be? I have said this a number of times. I personally believe that the game-changing ship will be a ship that lets you build bases and space stations. The CIG aren't going to want just like an item in the inventory that you click and it appears. They're going to want a station to be built, and that's going to require a ship. So I think it's going to be something that builds bases.
I think it's a flying porta potty.
Either that or a flying
play
food
cut-
truck like the one from Fifth Element.
Yep.
Ooh, you
Yep.
got me on that one. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Now I want Chinese.
Why do I not have internet connection on this PC?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's weird. I'm going to restart this other one.
Wrong one.
Not this one. So Nicolaj asks, how about that new racer bike ship thing, the Racer, the Origin X1? We talked about it a little bit at the beginning. Looks like an Origin ship.
Looks like it does things.
No. To be fair, it looked closer to the I can't remember the 600i than it does to an Origin ship because I mean it's in the same color scheme and everything as the 600i.
Let's think about that 600i though for a second, because the 600i is the first large Origin ship that's really been that's been built in a while, and the 600i and the 890 jump kind of seem to take a lot from each other. They're very, very similar. But then if you go back to the small ones, the 300 series, they now don't really look like Origin ships anymore. And I'm fully expecting in the revamp for them to get a lot more Origin.
I disagree with you a little bit. I mean, they look like Origin ships. They don't look like prototype Origin ships, which is what they technically are.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just quickly touch on the funding thing because I have an answer now.
Go.
So overall, funding's been going really well lately. Pretty not like stunning, but basically exactly what they've been. They're very, very consistent. July they made $2.4 million. August they made $2.8 million. This is very standard numbers for them. Good numbers for the summer, especially because the summer is usually their weak point. But now someone asked about the 600. That question also asked about the 600i. So we can't do something like a concept sale analysis for the 600i because there were special sales. There were special sales for all sorts of different things. It's really noisy. It's hard to tell what was the 600i and what was the Dragonfly, the LX, the Cutlass, the Nox, the Prospector, the Rover, the Glaive, all this other stuff that was for sale, and the Aquila. However, in the 10-day period that the 600i was on sale, they made $2.1 million, which is a lot for a sale.
And I am putting in a link for the crowdfunding.
Yes,
spreadsheet.
perfect. Thank you. So that's actually pretty impressive sale. Expect to see. So September's probably gonna be pretty quiet. I don't think we have a concept sale coming up, unless I'm incorrect. Has anybody heard of one?
Which one?
Is there going to be a concept sale
Friday.
by the end of September?
There's going to be one Friday, the X1.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's coming Friday. Yeah.
So the 29th, even still, so the funding for September is probably going to be around $1.4 million, just because there wasn't much happening.
Yeah.
October, November, December is their really, really, really strong time for funding. So, even though they've only made, I think, somewhere in the region of $20 million this year, they're probably going to make another $15 to $20 million.
Man, only 20 million. That's terrible. I mean,
Right? Yeah.
Well, if you look at, they usually make about $35-36 million. So we're like, oh well, it's September, they're screwed, right?
yeah.
But it's very likely they'll make probably $15 to $20 million in those last 3 months.
Related question. So with all the like smaller ships and everything selling recently, how well do you think the X1 is going to sell?
Probably really well, actually.
It's another LTI token, but everyone had LTI tokens at this point.
I think it's not going to do very well, actually. I think a lot of people might melt like their second Dragonflies or their second Noxes or something for it. I think that we won't actually see much new money infused on this one, personally. Because
I think it'll make.
Everyone's got. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, it's just everyone's got their bikes now, and this is a third bike, right?
And real quickly, like they're gonna have like their Warbound special,
Yeah.
and they get some money from that. But I don't think they'll make nearly as much as they have for the other two base bikes.
But
I'm
at
gonna
the same
say-
time, variety is good though. So even though they may not make a lot, it still gives players options.
Also, you look at the one thing that people are concerned about with the Nox is it has no weapons. And you look at.
Nox have something?
I don't think so.
I
It
thought
had
the
one
Nox has. I thought it
Yeah,
had
it had
one.
one.
weapon.
They had one.
Oh, am I wrong on that? Sorry about that.
I think they all have at least one, but it's not.
Okay.
The Nox is meant for speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not as good as the Dragonfly.
The X1 is obviously more of a combat vehicle because it's got that big gun is basically right up front. And I think that what you'll see is a lot of the people who own a Nox and want speed, because I'm sure the X1 will be fast, they also want some combat ability, will probably look at it. but then that'll probably be a melt, so you won't see a lot of money there. However, I think it's safe to say it'll make at least $1 million because almost every sale does. I think
Yeah.
only one hasn't. So
the
I
only
mean,
one
even
that
a
hasn't
bad
was the
sale-
Genesis Starliner.
Exactly. Which I actually think is a cool ship, but it's extremely niche. So that's why
It's
it's
very niche, and the
Expensive.
technology for it is obviously it still has a ways to go before
It's a ways out. Yeah.
It was niche and it was expensive, and yeah.
So I'm gonna say at least $1 million, but I don't expect it to do like $2 million. That's a really, really big sale.
Yeah.
So probably right around the 1 to 1.2 range. But it's not really about that ship. It's the Citizen Con will probably get a really impressive new ship, the Game Changer. If it's a construction ship, it'll sell a ton because
Yeah.
people will be really excited by it.
If it
And
is
then-
actually a game changer,
Everyone will buy one, and that's that. You know.
yeah.
And
It
so
depends on the cost.
oh,
It-
it
yeah.
totally does.
Yeah.
But if it's around $250, which is a pretty standard price for a medium-sized ship, I think it'll sell a ton. Now, but we are going to a period October, November, December where they do really well. And this will be a weird one though because Citizen Con's 2 weeks later, so it almost is going to pour right into the anniversary sale. Because so
yeah, you're
their
right.
November could be enormous this year in terms of funding.
Do you think that they might merge the two sales and then and instead transfer the anniversary sale more over to the holiday?
I'm not sure. That's an interesting marketing question. They usually have 3 sales. They have the one around Citizen Con, the one at the anniversary, and then the holiday sale. But now they're all squished together, so I don't know.
My guess is that the Citizen Con sale will be a small one, maybe one or two ships, and then they'll do the normal anniversary sale per normally. Then they have a normal holiday sale per normally. But
And that really could be a massive sale because if that first sale at Citizen Con is that game changer ship, it could be really big in terms of funding, and then you're pouring right into the anniversary sale, and then the holiday sale. So, I mean, in terms of funding, I mean, the game is very strong. We know this. It's been very, very stable. I talked about this a while ago, but the year-to-year sales of Star Citizen are almost completely flat. They basically make $35 million a year, period, every year.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons why they are actually attractive to creditors and stuff for getting leases and loans and things, is that they can go, look, we make $35 million a year, period.
no, you know they got a loan because they're running out of money. What are you talking about?
Yes, that's exactly
so
what. Anyway, go ahead. I can talk about this for hours.
Fastcart, you should. We should have a funding special someday. Fastcart
Yeah.
asks the next 2 questions. Eris, if I give you my address, can you send your kid to fetch me something from my fridge? And then Nehkara, would you like anything from the fridge too? Unfortunately, no. My kid will stay here in Canada where it's safe and she gets free healthcare.
That's fair. Okay, one more point I just want to illustrate what I meant. If you look at the year-over-year funding, so this is basically the funding for the last 12 months prior to this measurement, right? So it rolls continuously. The year-over-year funding has remained between 32 and $36 million for the last 3.5 years.
I'm sorry, Nehkara. I was taking care of chat real quick, but yeah.
Did everyone catch that? We good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
If anyone's wondering, someone in chat posted a new picture of the X1, and it was just upside down.
It actually looks better upside down, I think, almost.
I disagree.
I can't really tell. I mean, 'cause for me, I had the Nox. I'm going to keep the Nox as far as I know. As long as there's something really amazing about the X1, I'm just keeping the Nox, so I'm not really interested.
Okay, so the next question is going to be from Remus. CanadianSyrup, what is your biggest fear for CitizenCon?
My biggest fear
Ow.
CitizenCon.
What?
I think my biggest fear for CitizenCon, and I know this is kind of weird, is that if we don't have 3.0 in Evocati hands. I know it's kind of weird, like, why is that? It's not necessarily relevant to presentation-wise, but I think by CitizenCon, Evocati has to be testing 3.0.
I was actually really worried that 3.0 wasn't going to be out for GameCon, but no, I'm not anymore because I mean it went well and everything. But I was one of the people who was expecting 3.0 to come out in June or July.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I never expected it to come out there. And as far as like the presentation goes, I mean, I honestly like after last year, I don't expect much. Like, and it's not to discredit them, but it's like I really don't want to hype myself up for something that
Yeah.
I got so disappointed by last year. And they've been doing a better job this year at controlling hype, but it's one of those things where, you know what? If they come out with vertical slice or some really cool stuff, you know, they said exploration, awesome, cool. That I want to wait and see instead of just going, oh, this is gonna be awesome, you know. So, plus it's a time to celebrate their achievements so far. So I know some people are like, why would you have a convention on a game that's not even released? It's like it's kind of more than just the game; it's the community that is built around it.
Exactly.
Look at what we do. This is a game that hasn't been released, and we don't even play the game here every week. We don't even play the game, and still, for some reason, there's like 100 of you guys watching us not play the game, just talk about a game that's not even released. It's still in alpha. Yeah, no, this is as much about the community and the journey of Star Citizen as it is about any bloody game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too messy here, but I love the community. I love
Yeah.
you guys, and I love hanging out with you. So yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I think for the holiday stream this year, they should just stay around and sing Christmas carols for 2 hours.
That'll
be better.
That'll be better. Yeah.
No.
First day of Christmas, my true love gave to me an Aurora LX.
No, you should have said LT.
Aurora in
That
a
would have
pear
rhymed.
tree. Come on.
Yeah.
Fine.
Free LT. You know what they should do? They should just take the VOD from last year's holiday stream and then just put that out. Here's your holiday live stream. The previous
Nehkara,
one
what's
that
what's
we
your
did.
biggest fear for CitizenCon?
My biggest fear, that they have some sort of catastrophic problem at the last minute and they don't have anything to show at all. Like they completely commit to, we're going to show the Squadron 42 vertical slice, and then the power goes out.
Okay, if that happens, no one would be mad because they would
And
probably
then-
just
or-
do a VOD of
or-
it
Yeah.
later on.
Or they like have this horrible bug where they can't even launch the game. And
Well, in that case, then you just bring Brian Chambers out. You just watch him go like this for 2 hours.
that's right. And talk about how amazing the planetary tech
And
is.
crap,
Yes.
what's his name? Ricky Jutley. Ricky Jutley and
Ricky
Brian
Jutley,
Chambers
the
have a
hair.
hair off.
Oh my god, the hair.
No.
Holy hair.
I got a better idea. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but the guy who toppled Brian Chambers off of Quantum Questions. You got 20 questions right instead of 16.
I don't know.
Oh, you
who
don't.
is that?
Okay. I think his name is Jones, but I couldn't remember. But have him and Brian Chambers do the Quantum Questions off.
That'd be good. Mike Jones, yeah. Fastcart, your biggest fear for CitizenCon?
I'll be in VerseCon, so I'll be hoping that nothing bad's happening there. Who else is going to VerseCon? Just me?
Jake's going.
Jake's going. I think Papa Dolvak's going to be there. Big old Papa D.
Yeah, so I'll be in VerseCon.
The rest of us Northies aren't going to risk America.
We could
Which
get hit by a hurricane.
We could get hit by a hurricane, or a fire, or a tornado,
Quake.
or an earthquake,
earthquake.
or stray bullets, or large orange orangutans. Basically, stay safe, all you people out there that aren't Canadians, because guess what? We don't have natural disasters up here. It's why we live here.
And you could be a combination of all those things because people shoot guns into hurricanes.
Yes,
I
saw-
heard.
Yeah. My biggest fear for CitizenCon personally is any kind of CIG competition. Any kind of, like...
I know where you're going with this.
I don't.
Can you explain it? Because I don't know how to explain it, but, like...
Okay, them yet again getting two teams together across the
Yeah.
ocean playing against each other in this crazy match of Star Marine, and we're like, Star Marine's so 2015. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yes,
no,
the Astropub...
that's
Paul
not
Paul
useful.
says it. I'm worried about cringe.
Mhm.
I think that CIG, even last year's Citizen Con, if you take out the disappointment from not having a Squadron 42, we still saw some damn cool shit.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
still really good otherwise.
As long as CIG don't have that cringe, and as long as they don't give in to whoever suggests that they have that cringe every year, they're going to be golden. They will be golden. Just
Do you think
don't
that person
have
is-
the
That
cringe.
is, but it's not a good idea.
So Harold Sparhawk asks, anyone think that they're waiting till Far Cry 4 is released to make another Blood Dragon game?
Yeah, not my thing.
Not
Sorry.
my thing. Uh,
I'll reuse an answer. I could or couldn't care less.
Haramis asks, what is a must for you at CitizenCon?
A must.
Squadron 42.
See, I want to give cop-out answers like, they're going to get a new ship commercial. We're going to see, Squadron 42, maybe not a Squadron, but like a new schedule for the Star Citizen roadmap. I mean, I just want to see those, and I'll be happy. But if anything else is icing for me, almost.
CS?
Yes.
What do I want to see at CitizenCon?
What is a
must
must?
for you?
What's a
Has to
well,
happen.
on fastcart? Like, is there anything
Curious
else?
by Fast
That is a
Card.
good
Yeah,
answer.
point.
I
really
will
good
say though, someone beside me told me to say that, but I also wholeheartedly agree with it. So
Thank you, Stormy. Thank you, CS.
I'm assuming it's coming to me now.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay. Must for me at CitizenCon. A new catchphrase from Chris Roberts.
Let's do it!
Just do it. This is bullshit. I think this year it's gonna be. Oh no.
Oh, which one?
I think this year it's going to be, it worked! It worked! It worked!
It's alive! It's alive!
Yeah.
No, that'll be next year when Squadron 42 comes out.
No,
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, I think a must for me is two things: good communication about what they're going to show, and good execution on that.
Harold Sparhawk has actually a really good question on the topic of Steam. If CIG does go to Steam for distribution, do you think that they should increase the price for their product to cover their potential losses? Personally, I don't think so. They've already sold most of it through their site, and they'll still probably continue to sell most of it through their own site. What they would want Steam for is the extra exposure, and the extra exposure is worth it's worth whatever percent that Steam takes off, especially when you consider again that CIG doesn't have a publisher that's also taking a cut, right?
Yeah.
Fastcart?
And when by the time it's ready to be put out on Steam, Star Citizen and Squadron 42 will be $60 each. So they're making money that way too.
And I mean, the Steam only takes unlike some other like ways of distributing games like retail. Steam only takes about 30%.
Yeah.
Whereas it's more like 70% for retail, which a lot of people, if you want to know why your Xbox game costs a lot that you bought on your shelf, that's why they only get 30% of the money that you spend.
And if you
on
want to
it.
know
So
why your PC game costs a lot, it's because publishers are assholes, and they honestly all need to be pile driven through the center of the earth into
Agreed.
their own anuses.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, why do PC downloads cost so much? But you just answered the question.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of them don't too. You look at Steam, and there's lots of games on there that are really good for like $20.
There are,
And
but then you get
Yeah,
Even
but not
PUBG,
but not
even
the big
PUBG.
AAA people the stuff he sees commercials for.
Even PUBG is $40.
I
Canadian.
bought bloody Assassin's Creed Origins because I really want to play it because I don't care. I like Assassin's Creed games, but it was still like $100 for the standard edition, and that is fucking daylight fucking robbery. Those stupid bat.
By the way, I'm also okay. Total aside, I'm gonna pull a Jake here and go into general gaming.
We already did that.
Oh, what the hell's it called? They're making a like full game version of the pirate part of. Oh, it's called Skull and Bones.
Yep.
I'm super excited for that. As soon as I
too.
played Black Flag, I was like, they need to make this a full game.
Yep.
Absolutely, it's amazing.
I'm gonna play that. I love.
Yep.
Black Flag had the best ship controls. Period.
Of any pirate game ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it
Also,
was
you
amazing.
didn't pull a Jake. You didn't swear, get drunk, or angry, or
I'll talk over you.
yeah.
No, but
Hey, wait, that sounds a lot like you too.
I mean, yeah, Jake and I are very similar. It's why we get along.
and we haven't had Eric dump off the out of the room yet either. I'm missing that. But,
I didn't this today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No.
No.
Didn't frustrate you enough.
But I was gonna say, like, just last night, no joke, I was looking for a sci-fi game or sci-fi MMO to play because I mean I've had Mass Effect, but I haven't had my fill since Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Okay, so Nikolai asks, "Can we have Jake back, Kappa, at some point?"
If he ever wants to come back.
Oh, he does. He was on. He was on last week.
We're all pretty scary.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And-
want to. I wouldn't want to be stuck on a cast with me for an hour and a half.
Just people know, I believe Shiver will be back in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
I believe.
Oh, I
That'll
can't.
be,
I
that'll be
cannot wait
momentous
for Shiver to
occasionally.
be back. I mean, hopefully next week. I'd like to get. Who do I want next week? I don't know.
Oh,
I'd like to get Nehkara on again, and I'd like to get Jake on, and I'd like to get like Paul
hey,
or someone.
This is your first warning. I'm not going to be here for October 7th or 14th.
7th and 14th.
Saturdays.
As long as Shiver's back by then, you cannot be here. If Shiver's not back yet, sorry, I'm gonna have to deny your leave.
Okay, then I will have to do. I'll have to do the podcast from literally the Canadian wilderness.
Sounds good.
And by the way, can I just channel Eris real quick? I just want to say, and fastcart, you're welcome to come back anytime. Thank you.
You are. You are. I will have you back. I'm just trying to figure out next week.
Right.
And only Shiver's the only person that I want on every single week, without fail. Everyone else can wait except for CanadianSyrup. He can come on anytime he wants, and same with Nehkara, and same with fastcart. Anyone can come on anytime they want. They just gotta tell me. Okay. Let's finish up one or two more of these before we end. Golden Shower S asks, do you think that 3.0 will be a milestone for more playability? Also, do you think the polish that CIG is doing is justified?
Yes and yes.
Yes.
That's the whole deal.
I'm a little iffy on the polish stuff because I understand why they're doing it because they have to give it to the Evocard and to the players and people want to see polish, but the amount of work they're putting into it versus getting it out early.
I think it's really important for them. I know this sounds weird, but I think it's actually important for them to get people back into the game. I don't think many people are playing right now, and I think that a lot of people don't play because they play for 10 minutes and then something breaks and they don't want to play anymore. So I think that if they can get it to a point where the game actually runs reasonably well most of the time, I think it's actually important and will make the testing part a lot easier. I really like this next question.
Yeah. So Tristan Diaga asks, would there be an ATC position on carrier-type ships? And I think there would be, because if you look at today's episode, they actually do talk about how they did research into how American carriers do their, aircraft carriers do their ATC. So yeah, I think there will be.
That is also the one situation in which I could possibly see there being player-controlled ATC. It's not a base, so the people you're screwing over are your friends, so you're less likely to screw them over.
So what you're saying is
somewhat
test.
less likely.
I'm doing that on Jake's ships.
Be more specific. You're doing that to Jake on his ship. When Jake
So
comes into land, you're screwing him over.
Yeah.
I also think, even though it probably will be able to be player controlled, I think it'll be the most common NPC filled position on a carrier ship, because a lot of people won't want to.
I'd agree. Brivols asks, did anyone read the new Gamma
Sutra.
whatever series of articles about Star Citizen? No.
Nope. See, it's like Karma Sutra, except it's Gamma Sutra.
That's weird.
Why isn't it Garma Sutra?
Yeah, that's a weird name.
Anyway,
No, I didn't.
Actually, I didn't even hear that there was a new series of articles.
I've been avoiding any like media articles about Star Citizen for so long because they repeat stuff that I already know, and then they repeat
you
stuff.
already know it's wrong.
And yeah,
So, I sometimes go for the comment just to see what people are what normal people are saying, and I try to and I know there's a lot of trolls in the comment. Yes, you can't avoid that, but I mean, just to get a general feel of what other people think.
Have you seen these, FC?
No, I haven't seen the Gamma Shooter one, not yet.
I don't know. I find it's stuff that CIG has already told us normally anyway, and if you pay attention to what they're saying, we know it. Except that you're not also getting someone who only writes mainstream gaming news, so that they don't have people writing for magazines and for gaming websites have these assumptions about how game development has to go and how the media cycle for game development has to go. And most media for a game is you don't advertise it until 6 months before the game is ready. So they're ready with their articles and they play it and they say what they think about it. And then they follow up in a month, and oh, it's ready to release. They've got a release date and 2 weeks later it releases and they write a review. And that is all they have to do. Whereas Star Citizen, they've been talking about it for 7 years. So every time it comes up, they're like, "Oh, well, why isn't this out yet? What I thought this should have been out. What's going on here? I don't understand.
Who are you imitating right now? Just out of curiosity.
I have no idea."
Okay, just making sure.
So the upshot of at least this one that I quickly took a look at is basically Star Citizen. Star Citizen is not going to be made because it costs too much money. And it's bullshit. So,
But it is the same. That is the same article that keeps happening. That article, the same 3 articles keep getting released. And unless it's Red Bull Gaming, which is so far one of the only bloody media things that has put out a decent article about Star Citizen, it's always, it costs too much, it's not getting made. It's taken too long, it's not getting made. It's a scam, it's not getting made. Or nobody at CIG knows what they're doing, it's not getting made. Like, screw off.
The biggest problem is, this is one thing that they really don't seem to understand, and it really blows my mind. Most companies, when they start making a game, borrow money to make the game, right?
Yeah.
So they are automatically in a debt position right away. Star Citizen has, where are we at right at this particular moment? Somewhere around
159.6.
There you go, $159.6 million. And that is not debt; that is cash. And so they seem to be under the assumption that once they run out of their actual physical money above and beyond zero, that they're going to just fold and that'll be it, and they'll just collapse.
And just to beat the dead horse a little bit more, they're not spending money on marketing, the marketing engine for the game. And Chris said 3 years ago that marketing is like 80% or 70% of the total budget. So if you want to say like it costs too much, divide 159.6 by 6 or divide it by 4 or whatever, and that'll be what normal games would be spending for the amount that they
Even if it
want
was
made.
50-50, you know? Like,
Yeah.
CS, you were gonna say something?
Oh, no. I mean, I was just gonna like one of the things before was when articles do come out, I feel like criticism and stuff because there was a video and someone was like how Star Citizen backers are, they'd say it's it's perfect and there's nothing wrong with how development is, stuff like that. It's like I have no problem with criticism of the game. It's how you approach it's or not how you approach it. It's how you bring about the criticism.
We criticize it all the time.
Hmm. And the big thing too is a lot of people forget, especially like the one article where like they've taken like 5 years to make it. It's like, yes, that is true, but the company was not 400 strong, like at the very beginning, and it frustrates me so much when people go, "It's taken 5 years to make." Yeah, but they're building a company at the same time. Like
Blizzard
I
was
feel like so
already
many-
established,
yeah, like
right?
so
Blizzard
many-
was already established. It still took them how long to build World of Warcraft, which was an MMO, and that's what you kind of have to compare Star Citizen to, because guess what? Star Citizen is an MMO. So not only is Blizzard an established,
I think WoW was about 6 years.
yeah, but they were an established company. So now you've
Yeah,
got
and
Star
they
Citizen
had
as
500 people working on it.
Yeah, 500 people, 6 years to make WoW. And WoW, remember, WoW at launch didn't bloody work.
No,
It took them a
But-
while to polish it.
Polished it.
the only reason it didn't work, though, and to be fair, like I was working for a WoW site at the time. The only
Yeah.
reason it didn't work is they were too humble. They
They
vastly
didn't think enough
underestimated their own
people would play it.
success.
Yeah.
And so I remember, this is a famous quote, and I just love it. I was watching this interview with one of the devs, and he was at like a retailer the night that WoW launched, and they had, I think, 19 servers or something to house all the players, and he was looking around, and there was a lineup, like I think it was 4 times around the building, and he looked over to one of his buddies there who also worked at Blizzard, and he's like, dude, we're screwed. They're completely screwed.
Yeah.
And they went from like 19 servers to 93 servers in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But no,
So
It's-
just real quick, compared it to the Gamescom line, with just for those
Yeah.
people want to play Star Citizen.
yeah, no,
Like-
totally. But I wanted to just quickly touch on something here. I just wanted to finish my thought. Like the problem is that every one of these authors seems to think that once even if they ran out of all their crowdfunding money, that it would just be over and that would be it, and that would be game over and nothing would be made. They're a company. They can take out a loan to finish the game. This is totally reasonable. Every company does it. I don't understand why them going into a negative cash position would be a bad thing. So basically, the upshot of this article was, I think they have no money, and they should start releasing their financial statements to the public to prove that they have money. And I think that that's kind of a bit above and beyond.
I think it's stupid. I think that the people that write these articles pay absolutely no attention to the game. I think that they can write whatever they want, because guess what? People are going to click it because it says Star Citizen, and it says something bad about Star Citizen, and that, quite frankly, is the narrative that a lot of people want to hear and want to push. And I think that they're bad people and should really evaluate their lives and the decision that they've made in their lives, and I hope that they're
Hey, we
happy.
got an Eris rant.
And wait, and people,
I'm not even done my rant.
yeah, and
But I'll
Go rant.
stop it.
Your rant. Go rant.
No.
And people who do think the game is going well and everything like that also click it because they want to see what's going on, why people are saying negative things about it.
Look how small they are.
You figure out the pattern?
I had to stop my rant because a wild thing appeared. And with the appearance of
Hi,
this...
Wild Thing.
Say hi.
Hi.
She's so disinterested. So disinterested.
With the appearance of this thing,
Yes.
it is reminded that I now have to go to a birthday party. So, we've gone a little bit over. If someone asks the question next week, believe me, I'll finish my rant if you want me to. But for now, For now, it's time for us to end. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Thank you all so much for listening and watching and talking and thank you. And just remember that 343 years ago, we discovered single-celled organisms. Who knows what we'll discover next? Only on the relay station, inside the verse and around the verse, traversing the verse and discovering the verse. Your verse is our verse. Go watch the Astropub with Nehkara and a bunch of other Canadians. They better all say sorry. See you next week.